Alright guys, so I hope you're doing fine as always. Today we have a video about the correlation between top holders of a crypto token and strong dumps or even full-on rug pulls. So lately in the market we have seen a lot of these tokens appear that do pump hundreds, 150% and then all of a sudden rug pull. In this video we will have a look at one of the main reasons on how you can spot if a crypto token is eventually going to rug pull or show a very aggressive dump. This reason is the holders. If we look at top 10 holders, we can somehow determine how decentralized a token is. If the top holders are only between 10 to 20%, we have a very decentralized project. If this number is between 20 to 35, it's a decent spread. To 35 to 50, it's a medium concentration. 50 to 70, it's quite whale heavy. And 70 plus, it's highly centralized and so on, meaning extremely dangerous as well. So the target range for a healthy project with healthy distribution and in turn lower risk would be that the top 10 holders are somewhere in the range of 15 to 30%. We want to see that the largest single wallet does not own more than 5 to 10% of the supply. And we want to see that the top 100 holders do not hold more than 60 to 70% of the spread, or are somewhere within this range. It's not an exact science, of course. You need to reevaluate this for every single project itself. But the goal for a good crypto project would be decentralization with a good stability, which in turn leads to long-term growth potential. In cases where these numbers are out quite far, we often see quite strong manipulation and quite aggressive dumps after a pump and even full-on rug pulls. This is how I personally initially start looking at tokens that pump. I always check in the holders. I check if the wallets are connected or not to see if this coin is strongly manipulated and if it's potentially setting up for a very strong or aggressive dump or even full-on rug pull. For example, we did catch a move like that on Rave, on Lab, River, AI Jensen, Saga, Esport, BSB, Blaze Out. All of these tokens, they jumped up and eventually went crashing back down. Now let's look into an example. So first things first, let's have a look at a strong project, like for example here Chainlink. I'm here on CoinMarketCap on Chainlink. Now where do we find these holders? A lot of time CoinMarketCap has the holders somewhere written here in its tab already. For Chainlink it doesn't, so we can go here into the contracts. We can see explorers. Here we have Etherscan.io. If we click on this, we will go to Etherscan, automatically already looking at Chainlink here, and we have this tab holders. Then here we can see in the holders concentration, the top 1 to 5 holds 19% of the supply, the top 6 to 10, 14, meaning together this is 33% of the supply, top 11 to 25, etc. Top 15 to 109, and outside of top 100 it's 37%. Of course you can see this is not exactly like the sweet spot that we talked about. If we look a bit deeper into the holders, we can see the top holder with 5.5% is a Binance Hot Wallet. The next one is a staking pool wallet. The other ones are non-circulating supplies. So we can see all these top wallets, they're not personal wallets. So it's not like the top 10 holders have this massive supply of Link tokens, as these are calculated in this number, but they are not the biggest, or they're not personal wallets. Which is a personal wallet maybe are the ones that start with 0x or are not named. You can see some of them in here. You can always click on these wallets to look a bit deeper. You can check their transaction. On Chainlink we are not going to find anything shady really, as this is a really solid project, so no point in us looking deeper into this. Now a second check that I always do is on crypto bubble maps. Same thing here, I just pasted the contract address of Chainlink into bubble maps, and then here again we can see the bubble map cluster forming on wallets that have had interaction with each other in the past. You can see on Link we have this purple cluster here. The total cluster supply is only 0.6% of the total supply. All these wallets hold some Chainlink. They have interacted with each other, but you can see the cluster supply is really low, so this is not concerning. Then we have this orange one. You can see the cluster supply is already 5.26%, which is a bit bigger. But if we click on the biggest bubble here, we can see this is the staking pool. So that's quite normal that this holds some supply. The staking pool will always hold some supply, and these wallets are probably all staking, so nothing too worried about that. So this is an example of a very solid project with nothing shady to see in the top holders. Now if we compare that to a project that recently rugged, for example here this eSport token, I think most of you have seen it on Monday 25th, it pretty much crashed down by 96%-ish. If we looked into the holders we saw, or into the transactions, we saw that the team sold here, so we can see straight up rug pull. Now let's have a deeper look. So again on CoinMarketCap, we check here, esports, you can see again price chart, we go to the explorers, here it is on base, so we open the Basescan, we go to the holders tab, do we see here in the holders concentration, so the top 1 to 5% hold still, this is after the rug pull already, they still hold 53% of all the supply. Then respectively 11, 16, 8, 5 and 6. If we scroll down a little bit, we can see the top wallet, who still holds 27%, is a private wallet, a personal wallet more than likely. Same here on position 5 and 6, 3 and 2% respectively, so we also have 14% in a router proxy, which is also a bit shady, so you can already tell instantly this is a lot more shady. Remember from our list, if we look at the top 10 holders, they have 64.25%, so that's very whale heavy, quite centralized, so already should ring some bells that this is not a solid project and there is a very strong risk on rug pulling. Now again, if we check the bubble maps, we pasted the contract address. What do we see here? We have this pretty huge cluster in purple, which holds 16.3% of the total supply. So all these wallets have interacted with each other before. So we definitely can see there is something very shady going on. Then if we activate these top wallets, we can see the smart contract, the Binance wallet, and then the proxies. So even the proxies are also interacting with this whole cluster, the Binance wallet as well. So you can instantly tell this is quite shady compared to like Chainlink that we just saw. If you look at this total cluster supply, it's already at 46.66%. So I hope it's clear for you that projects like this have a lot more chance of showing a very aggressive move down or even a full-on rug pull because they are so manipulated. What we usually see before these coins rug pull is an aggressive move up. So a manipulated move up, we can see here on eSport they pushed up 134% to then drop 97% to the downside. So this is a project that is already rug pulled. Now if we look at another token here, this Elo coin, which is only just pumping, let's have a deeper look into this one. This hasn't rug pulled yet or hasn't had a very aggressive drop yet. You could consider this is already quite an aggressive drop. It's 30%, but compared to the move up, it's not like esports full on rug pull, for example. So same thing, we are back on CoinMarketCap. Here we can see for this token we have the step holders, so we can already get a quick glance. But do we see here the top 10 holders have 93.67% of the supply, which is, if you remember from the list, absolutely crazy. We are in a very centralized area. So again, we go here to Explorer. It's Etherscan again, so we click on this. Again, in holders tab, here we see the top 10 holders are on 90.20%, so a slight difference on what we see on CoinMarketCap, but okay, maybe they found some different data, but it's close enough. Again, 90% is absolutely crazy, with the top 1 to 5 wallets holding 77% of the total supply. We can see here the top wallet, might be a private one, holds 33.3% of the total supply. Absolutely nuts. OKX here holds 23, might be a bit shady too, depends on how the transactions happen there. So if you want, you can always look deeper into the transactions itself. So now again we are on crypto bubble maps. We pasted the hello contract address in here. We can see this top wallet, it's supposedly locked, which I already have my doubts by. Nevertheless, holds 33.35% of the supply. And then this hot wallet of OKX and Kraken, Binance, all these other wallets have transacted with each other before, and if we look at the cluster supply here, we are sitting at a cluster supply of 18.69%, which is already really high as well. So you can see from the available wallets, the amount in the cluster, just from a visual, is really standing out compared to what we saw at Link, a strong project. So this should ring some alarm bells as well. If you want some extra confluences, use some tools like Token Sniffer or Soul Sniffer. They will give you a safety score on projects, but take it with a grain of salt, it's not always that accurate. So with all this shady stuff going on, and by just seeing the charts that it's so manipulated to the move up, we can also see its vector candle, so manipulation all the way up. Knowing that the top 10 wallets hold more than 90% of the supply, I think it's fair to say this is a purely manipulation move. This is the team or insiders who are pushing price actively. Once they're happy with prices, they will start dumping quite aggressively, maybe even fully rug pulling it. Hard to tell that they go for a full rug pull, but a very aggressive move down is the most likely scenario in this case. Doesn't mean that they won't push it up first again, sweeping the highs again. No way to tell. You have to do your own analysis on it. You want to see it break down, get some strength, and from there, this project is more than likely not going to last in the long run. More than likely will just have a very aggressive move down or even full on rug pull. Doesn't mean it has to start here. It can also be in the near future. So that's quickly on how I look for coins that might have a quite aggressive dump or might even fully rug pull. As you've seen, I've taken quite some trades on coins like this, so that's why I wanted to make this video, just to show that how something quite simple like looking at the top holders can already give you so much insight on if there will be potential aggressive move downs or rug pulls. So as always, if there are any more questions, please feel free to ask it in the comment section or on the Discord server, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care, see ya, bye bye.